Hey guys, today we're going to talk about genre. Now there's many different types of genre, but there's mainly either fiction books or non-fiction books. And we're going to be reading a story called Clark the Shark. And when I look at the cover of Clark the Shark, there are two things that pop out at me that make me think this book is not real. What do you think those two things are? Well, I don't think this book is real because, one, real sharks don't go to school, and the shark on this book page is sitting at a school desk. Two, I don't think this book is real because this shark is wearing clothes like people do, and real sharks that swim in the ocean, well, they don't wear clothes. So I think this book is fiction. Not only is it fiction, but I think it's fantasy fiction. Fantasies are stories with made up. You know, those events that could not really happen. And as you read Clark the Shark, I want you to look for animal characters who talk and act like people, just like Clark. He's going to school like regular people do. He's wearing clothes like people do, but he's an animal. Animals don't normally do that. I don't know any animals that do that. I want you to also look for a beginning, a middle, and an end of the story. There's always clearly in a fiction book a beginning, a middle, and an end. The next thing I want you to look for are how pictures and words help you understand what happens. You know, a lot of times good readers will not just read the words, but they'll also look at the pictures and study the pictures. And you'll ask yourself questions based off of what the picture is doing. So make sure that you not only read the words, but you're also paying attention to the pictures. They're not there just to be colorful and pretty. All right, the next thing I want you to do is I want you to ask yourself questions. You know, a good reader, as they're reading something, you're constantly asking yourself questions, such as, you know, why did the character do that? Or what are they doing next? Or where are they going? Or why did that just happen? Or how are they going to do this? So you're constantly asking those who, what, when, where, and why questions. And you can do that before a book. You can do that while you're reading a book. And you can also ask questions after you're done reading the book. I know that it helps me when I read a book to understand the book better. A lot of times when I look at the front of a book, for example, in the book Clark the Shark, I have so many questions. First of all, Clark is grinning from ear to ear. What is he so happy about? He's in school. Most kids, when they're doing schoolwork, I don't ever see them grinning that hard. Then, what are all those bubbles around Clark? I don't understand. Why would there be bubbles around Clark? And how is his hat staying on? It looks like it's floating above his head. So these are some of the questions that I would ask. And those things on the floor? What are those things on the floor? So these are all things that I could ask, and they may get answered when I read the book, or they may not. I want you to look at the power words. The power words are munch, bellowed, rough, handle, cool, bounce, grinned, might. You know, when you're munching on something, what do you think that means? Well, when I hear the word munch, it rhymes with lunch, and it makes me think of chewing. You're munching down on some food. Bellowed, when I hear see the word bellow, I think of a loud noise. And then, of course, rough would be the opposite of easy. So if you handle something roughly, you're not taking care of it. Oh, look at there. The next word is handle. Handle. And then we have cool. You know, cool can mean several different things. It can be cool temperature-wise, or, man, he's acting so cool. It can mean like calm and collected. The next word is bounce. Bounce, when I think of the word bounce, I visualize a ball going up and down, or a baby in a bouncy seat. Well, the next word is grinned, and boy, is Clark grinning from side to side. So grin would be smile. The last word is might. You might hear that a lot. When you ask your mom or dad or guardian, can we go so-and-so? And they say, well, we might. So might mean you maybe can or you maybe can't. And might also mean give it your all or do your best. All right, listen to the audio to find out about the author Clark the Shark. You can click on the audio and you can listen up here to Clark the Shark when you've pulled this up. But I'm going to go through and I am going to read you the story, Clark the Shark. But when I'm done, you can also listen to the audio. But this is the author of Clark the Shark, and let's just see.
Clark the Shark is one of 7 stories.
Oh, I got to start it at the back.
Bruce Hale is a storyteller, an author, illustrator, and he's funny too. He likes to write books that make children laugh and want to read. How does he do that? One way is to write several books about some of his favorite characters. In fact, Clark the Shark is one of 7 stories about Clark. As you read, see if you would like to read more stories about Clark.
All right. Clark the Shark by Bruce Hale, illustrated by Guy Francis. In all the wide blue seas, in all the wide blue world, the top school for fish was Theodore Roosterfish Elementary. And of all the fish at Theodore Roosterfish, the biggest and the strongest was Clark the Shark. Well, they even take a school bus to school. Being fish, I would think they would just swim to school. And that's pretty clever that they've put a school inside a ship. I wonder if they named the ship or if that was the ship's name already and they added elementary. I don't know. Clark loved school, and he loved his teacher, Mrs. Inkydink. He loved to play upsy-downsy and spin-a-majig with his friends. Well, Clark loved his life. It's a good life when you get to play with your friends, isn't it? They look like they're having a really good time. The teacher looks very friendly. Now look at this fish's face. I don't know what he's feeling. But some of them don't look too happy. Like these fish right here. This one looks kind of happy. I wonder what they're thinking. Clark is kind of big and strong, so I wonder if he's going too fast. School is awesome, shouted Clark the Shark. Less shouting, more reading, said Miss Inkydink. Lunchtime is sweet, yelled Clark the Shark. Munch your own lunch, said his best friend Joey Mackerel. Ooh, my goodness, I don't know what kind of manners Clark's got going on right here. There's food flying everywhere. I do think Clark is a very fun guy, and he's super excited about everything because, school is awesome and he's shouting, but, I don't know. His schoolmates don't seem to be very excited about sitting with him. I think he munches everybody's lunch. Look what that. I think it's like he bit off everyone's lunch. Recess rocks, bellowed Clark the Shark. You're playing rough, Clark. Well, I just don't know. Poor Clark. He's kind of big and everybody thinks he's being too rough. Well, look at his size compared to all his classmates. He is a considerably larger fish, so I don't think Clark the Shark is trying to be rough. I just think, because he's so much bigger, he comes off as being rough. What do you guys think? Yes, Clark loved his life with all of his sharky heart, but he loved everything way too much. He was too loud. He was just too wild. He was just too much shark for the other fish to handle. They didn't really know how to handle him. Oh, look at Clark's face. What do you think his emotion is right now? Look at the classroom. Oh, after a while, no one would play with Clark. No one ate lunch with him. No one sat with him in circle time. Even his best friend Joey Mackerel said, "Cool your jets, Clark. You're making me crazy." What do you think Joey meant when he said, "Cool your jets"? I don't see any jets on Clark. Do you think that's a figure of speech? Like he was just telling Clark to maybe calm down a little bit? Could be. One day, Clark asked Miss Inkydink, "What's wrong with everyone?" Miss Inkydink patted his fin. "Clark, sometimes you play too hard. You munch too hard, and gosh, you even help too hard." "But life is so exciting," said Clark. "There's a time and a place for everything," said Miss Inkydink. "And sometimes the rule is stay cool." Do you think Clark understands what Miss Inkydink is trying to tell him? Are there times that you have to remind yourself to stay cool because you just get so excited? Sometimes. Well, at recess, Clark tried to stay cool. But he pushed the swing with too much zing. "Sorry," said Clark. "I forgot. Yikes," cried Joey Mackerel. While at lunch, Clark tried to stay cool, but everything smelled so good that he munched a bunch of lunches. "Sorry," said Clark. "I forgot." "We're starving," said his friends. In class, Clark tried to stay cool, but a good book got him all shook up. "Now, Clark," said Mrs. Inkydink, "this isn't the time or the place. Tell me, what's the rule?" "Stay cool," said Clark. "Hey, that rhymes," he cried. Do you think he actually cried? I don't think he's crying. Look at that. He's smiling. He's excited. I think when the teacher or the author said he cried, it just meant as another way of saying that, hey, that rhymes, Clark said. Then Clark got a big idea in his sharky head. Maybe if I make a rhyme, I'll remember every time, he thought. The next day, he put his plan to work. In class, when lessons got exciting, Clark wanted to bounce up out of his seat, but instead he told himself, when teacher's talking, don't go walking. And what do you know? It worked. "Attaboy, Clark," said Miss Inkydink. Clark smiled. "Lessons are fun." Look at Clark trying to help himself out. Well, at lunch, wow, it's a totally different Clark at lunch. Now look at this picture. He's using good manners, fork, not munching on everybody's lunch. Everybody seems happy with him. At lunch, everything smelled so yummy. When Clark wanted to eat and never stop, he told himself, only munch your own lunch. And it worked again. Way to go, Clark, said his friends. Clark grinned. Lunch is fun. Well, at playtime, Clark told himself, easy does it. That's the way. Imagine if Clark played too wild. He would bounce all of his friends off the seesaw. Then my friends will let me play. And playtime was fun. Once more, Clark loved his life. But then a shadow fell across the playground. A ginormous shadow with tentacles galore. Wow, ginormous. What do you think that means? Well, just look at it. Look at the ship. Do you think ginormous is tiny or little, or is ginormous big and huge? Oh, it's a new kid, and he looks scary, cried Joey Mackerel. Swim for your lives! Oh, the squid squished the side, and it snapped off the swings. Oops, my bad, said the new kid. I think the new kid's actually bigger than Clark the shark. Wait, said Clark. He just wants to play. Let's find a way. And he swam at the new kid with all of his might. Clark played harder than he ever had before. Upsy downsy and spin-em-a-jig. Why, he even made a new game.